So I've been looking on a lot of the forums for the CRF African Twin and different spotlight setups and distribution board setups that are available from Eastern Beaver, PC8s and lighting setups from Denali and D4s and stuff like that, and it all looks kind of really expensive. And whilst I don't necessarily mind spending a little bit of money, I figured there might be a cheaper way of doing it. So I'll show you in a second, but I got some spotlights from a company called Alchemy Motorcycle Parts, and they're really good quality. Now I notice there's loads of different spotlights you can get from eBay and other such places, and most of them from China, and I get some bad feedback. I can see lots of people saying that after just a couple of runs they're rusty and other bits and bobs. But what I can say is for all the stuff that I've got from Alchemy Parts for different motorcycles that I own, the quality of the equipment that they provide is absolutely second to none. So I decided to get some spotlights. I didn't necessarily want the round ones, I wanted something a little bit different, so I went for some sort of rectangle ones that I'll show you in a second, and they're Cree ones, so they're nice and bright, but they don't draw a great deal of current, so that was quite useful as well. And whilst I was there, I decided to put on some daytime running lights as well whilst I was doing it. So whilst I was wiring all this in, I figured I may as well just put a distribution board in as well at the same time. But the crucial point is I wanted the spotlights to come on when I flicked on the main beam switch, and also to be able to use them for the passing switch. That was all I wanted to do effectively. So I know that there are kits available from different companies that involves splitters and plugging into the original wiring system, and that was going to mean taking off the entire front end of the bike effectively, from the fairing and the inner fairings and other stuff just to get to a plug. And I thought, again, there's got to be an easier way of doing this, so I'll post on a little drawing of what I did afterwards and a circuit diagram. But effectively we've got the lights on, we've got the spotlights on and a small distribution board, and I've taken the feed, some supply feeds for two relays that I'll show you and try and explain how they work. But essentially I've had to basically take apart almost nothing of the bike. It's an incredibly cheap and effective way of doing it, and it seems to work really well. So let's show you. So here's the African Twin, and here are the front lights. Obviously not on at the moment, as you can see. Running around here, so that's the quality of the light setup. It's really good. This is what I wanted, with some brackets as well. The daytime running lights held on with a P-clip, which takes in a bit of vibration, which works out really well, and they don't take up a lot of space either. Fully adjustable up and down and side to side, as you can see. And running around to that one as well. So the cable run, so you don't have to take it all apart. The cable run goes up there, goes up underneath, and you can actually feed it down where the original cable run goes. And essentially it comes out, you can feed your cables on the cable run. It pops out here, runs behind this piece of plastic trim, and then comes out here. So essentially how it works is you have the battery supply, which comes up from here. That's just a positive and negative straight off the battery. Runs up through here, through this 15 amp fuse. It's a 20 amp wire, so 15 amp fuse in there, which works fine for me. Power supply comes down here and goes onto the two positive and negative pins on the top relay. Now to switch this relay on, I needed to take a switched power supply from the ignition, and I've taken that from this wire here. There's this red wire here is being fed. I've spliced into the number plate light, so that as soon as you turn the ignition on, number plate light comes on. I'll explain this black one in a sec. Bond the red cable, runs down here and switches on this relay, which then puts power supply to the distribution board. This then makes, I think I've set it up as 1, 2 and 4 will then come on live, right? 3, what that does is, so 1 I think I've got set up for my heated jacket, which I can then plug in, which is that connector there. 2 is currently spare, not used. 4 is the daytime running lights, and then 3, because this power supply is now live, 3 then sends a power supply down to the relay underneath, and the relay underneath then becomes energized when it's switched on. And what I wanted to do is to make sure that it only came on when I used the flasher unit, i.e. the main beam. The bottom relay is energized when this black cable over here is energized, and the supply for that is underneath this piece of plastic, which is where the relay is for the main beam headlight. So I took a feed from there, so when that's energized, supply comes down there, turns the bottom one on, which then puts power out of the relay onto one of the plugs, which is for the spotlights. So relatively simple, at least it sounds like it, but I do have a circuit diagram that I'll add to the end of the video for anybody who's interested. This maybe needs tidying up a little bit, but there's loads of space under here once you've got the seat on. But these plugs were just from cheap ones from eBay, and they work really well. And yeah, so currently it's in the off position. So when it's switched on like that, heated jacket is available, spares available, and headlight and daytime running lights. I just put them on just to make the bike look a bit wider, I suppose, when you're riding down the road. Somebody might notice that there's a few more lights on it than a normal motorcycle. They're pretty bright. Again, they're from Alchemy Parts. And then once it's switched on, you can't really tell. There's the spotlight. It'll be better in the dark, but and there's the spotlights, and they are really proper bright, and they work well. And again, we can just switch them off, and that's on the flash. So yeah, there we go. That is the for me, far cheaper way of getting spotlights and distribution boards set up on your motorcycle. You can spend a fortune and rip the whole thing apart, or you could do it the really simple way, take off a couple of panels and wire it up relatively easily and cheaply. Yeah, I'll put a shopping list on the end if anybody's interested. There we go, easy way of doing it.